8 years into our relationship, I took a knife from my doctor boyfriend, Ethan. He promised I could ask for anything in return. Everyone expected me to demand a proposal. Instead, I calmly said, "Let's break up." Then I turned and walked away. Ethan smirked and bet everyone, "She's just a lovesick puppy fishing for attention. I bet she'll be back begging me to take her back in 3 days." He was wrong. I had a secret. I'd been given a second chance. In my past life, I'd gotten engaged, but Ethan's dream girl, Olivia, jumped off a building and killed herself. He took all his anger out on me. On our wedding night, he slashed my face and locked me in a dark, cramped basement. After I got pregnant, he forced me to eat massive amounts of supplements. By the time I went into labor, the baby was too big, and I couldn't deliver. I bled out, my body torn apart in a horrific stillbirth. This time, back to the day I took that knife for Ethan, I did as he wished. The surgeon's office. A sharp pain in my arm brought me back to reality. The nurse finished wrapping the bandage, gently warning me to keep it dry. Ethan, sitting in the chair beside her, sneered, "Just a scratch. Why are you acting so precious?" I remained silent. Other doctors in the office exchanged uneasy glances. They were all there during the attack. The attacker was a hulking ex-con, released 2 years ago. The fruit knife, a foot long, had sliced through my arm. I needed 20 stitches. The attacker's original target was Ethan's heart. My silence angered him. His handsome face turned icy. "Claire, don't play games. I said you saved me, you can ask for anything. Still not satisfied? What's with the attitude?" Somewhere along the line, Ethan's tone toward me had become superior and condescending. All his tenderness was reserved for Olivia, his dream girl, an orphaned girl he'd sponsored after a flood relief effort. My gaze landed on the pink bunny hair tie on his wrist. Ignoring the bitterness swelling in my chest, I looked up and smiled. "Anything at all?" Ethan hesitated, a flicker of something crossing his eyes. He glanced at the hair tie, his expression momentarily troubled before regaining his composure. He ground his teeth, then nodded. "Yes." One of Ethan's medical school buddies chimed in. "Then, Dr. Hayes, you better make an honest woman of her." Others joined in the laughter. "Yeah, Dr. Hayes, it's about time you two tied the knot. I've already got my wedding gift ready. When's the big day?" As the teasing continued, I was about to break up with Ethan when a young nurse rushed in. "Dr. Hayes, Olivia is trying to kill herself." Again, if my count was correct, this was Olivia's 108th suicide attempt. Just like last time. As soon as the nurse finished speaking, Ethan ran out, heading towards the hospital rooftop. There, Olivia stood, eyes red and swollen, her small face pale. She wore Ethan's white shirt, her slender legs visible beneath it. I remembered seeing her there during the attack. While I'd been shielding Ethan, he'd held her close. She'd come from his office, wearing that white shirt, the one I had given him. "Claire saved you. You promised her anything. She loves you so much she'll propose and you'll say yes, right?" "I'm sorry, Ethan. The thought of losing you for the rest of my life. I'd rather die." Tears streamed down Olivia's face. Ethan's heart ached. "Just come down, let me explain." Ethan was frantic, his voice laced with concern. Ethan was attentive to Olivia's every whim. She liked pink, so a Dior bag I was supposed to get for my birthday became her reward for good grades. She was afraid of thunder, so he rushed to her side whenever she called. He even yelled at me once when he missed my grandfather's funeral because he was with her. Couldn't she pick a better day to try and die? I recalled Ethan's confession, his promise to always unconditionally love only me. But when he met 18-year-old Olivia, his affections shifted completely. Last time, jealousy had consumed me, leading to my tragic end. This time, I didn't want him. Olivia's sobs pulled me back to reality. Ethan had rescued her, their bodies pressed tightly together. I felt a wave of nausea. Ethan was shaken, trembling as he kissed Olivia's hair. "Thank God you're okay." Olivia's body trembled. "Will you marry Claire? If you will, then you should have let me die." Ethan gently wiped her tears, his gaze turning cold and calculating when he looked at me. "It's just marriage. In my heart, you'll always be first." Then, as if forced, he sighed. "Claire's been with me for 8 years. I don't love her anymore. But she saved me from drowning years ago, and she's always been so dedicated. I owe her that much." Everyone around us was stunned. Yes, I'd saved Ethan from drowning, and we'd naturally gotten together. But that was long ago. He always felt I was using that favor to manipulate him. Knowing how things would turn out, I wouldn't have saved him then or now. The pitying stares became irritating. I scoffed. "Ethan, I'm busy. When are you going to fulfill your promise?" Ethan sneered, a knowing glint in his eyes. So eager to marry me? He stroked Olivia's ear, then spoke to me dismissively. Fine. When do you want to get married? Since you're desperate to marry me, I cut him off. We're breaking up. Ethan stared, his face a mask of disbelief and anger. You want to break up? Ignoring Olivia's surprise, I looked at Ethan's furrowed brow. Yes. What kind of stunt is this? Ethan refused to believe me. Everyone knows you've been chasing me since high school. Now that you finally have a chance to marry me, you want to break up? Claire, stop kidding yourself. You're still wearing the ring I gave you. He seemed to have found a flaw in my plan, a smug look on his face, certain I'd never leave him. I calmly removed the ring and tossed it over the edge. Oh, right. Thanks for reminding me. Ethan had bought it for my birthday in college, using his first scholarship check. It had our initials engraved inside. Once after a car accident, I was unconscious, but I was clutching it. Ethan knew how much it meant to me. Now it was gone. Ethan's brow furrowed, but he still couldn't believe I was serious. He sneered. Claire, I don't care what games you're playing, but if you apologize, I'll pretend nothing happened. You still want to be Mrs. Hayes, and you will be. I smiled faintly. Ethan, I wish you and I both get what we want. And with that, I left. I heard Olivia ask, not chasing after her? Ethan sneered. No. She'll come crawling back. A woman who'll do anything to get pregnant by me won't just walk away. Yes, I was pregnant. Ethan had gotten drunk after an argument with Olivia and had slept with me, mistaking me for her. I got pregnant shortly after. Ethan knew. Last time, I'd used that favor to force him into marriage, resulting in Olivia's suicide. He constantly force-fed me until my belly grew huge. He didn't take me to the hospital when I went into labor. My baby got stuck, I bled out, the child suffocating to death in my womb. I still remembered the pain, the tremors, the blood-red eyes, the agonizing effort that resulted in nothing. Back home, I touched my still-growing belly. It was time to end this. I slept. 4 hours. 4 hours later, I received a message. My mom's sick, come over. Ethan was a monster, but his mother had always been kind to me. My parents and his had been close friends. His mom treated me like her own daughter. But the message didn't sound like Ethan's writing style. He never used punctuation. This was Olivia. Only she would dare touch his phone. Knowing it was a trap, I went anyway. As soon as I opened the door, a bucket of ice water was thrown over me. The icy chill engulfed me, my abdomen seized in pain. A cacophony of laughter filled the silent house. Opening my eyes, I saw a group of young people, their eyes full of amusement. Olivia stood among them. Make her kneel. Someone kicked me down. Olivia smirked. Do you know how much Ethan hates you? You slut, you got pregnant by him behind my back. She picked up a bottle of liquor. You only use cheap tricks to trap him. Today, you'll regret carrying his child. She raised the bottle. She thought I would be scared. I wasn't. I drank it all. Every drop. I didn't want Ethan. I didn't want this baby. More. I asked Olivia. She called me crazy. She grabbed a hot curling iron, then pressed it towards my eyes. Suddenly, someone screamed. Blood. She's bleeding. A sharp pain ripped through my abdomen. My face turned white. Olivia paused, but quickly recovered. She dropped the curling iron, and before anyone could react, she kicked my stomach. Blood spurted out. Before I could scream, I blacked out. The hospital office. Ethan was reviewing patient files. A nurse rushed in with a consent form. Dr. Hayes, Miss Claire. Ethan cut her off. We've broken up. Don't mention her to me. The nurse was frantic. But she was just brought in by ambulance. It's a serious internal bleed from a pregnancy. We need blood from another hospital. Please sign this. Ethan glanced at her, tore up the form. You think I'd believe such a pathetic lie? He sneered. Claire even bought off my staff? She loves me so much, she would never abort my child. Even if she's dying, I won't sign this. He brushed past the nurse and walked away, putting his phone on Do Not Disturb. He played games until 10. Turning off Do Not Disturb, over 100 missed calls flooded his phone, even the hospital director. He frowned. Claire was actually bothering the director? Her nerve. He called the director to apologize, but the director coldly said, "Get back to the hospital," and hung up. Confused, Ethan drove to the hospital, unaware of the anxious look on Olivia's face. He was usually well-liked, but the director's anger was unusual. As he stepped out of the elevator, he was slapped. He raised his hand, then froze, seeing his mother. "Mom, what are you doing here?" His mother's eyes were swollen, almost screaming. "You monster. Why didn't you sign the consent form?" Do you know she had a miscarriage, a massive hemorrhage? She lost her uterus because of you. A police officer stepped forward, holding up his phone. The video showed me, my white dress soaked in blood, lying unconscious on a stretcher, the blood staining the stretcher crimson. The moment I saw it, Ethan's pupils constricted. The officer's next words nailed him to the spot. Mr. Hayes, our investigation reveals that the mastermind behind the attack on your fiancée is Ms. Olivia. What? Ethan was stunned, his handsome face a mask of disbelief and terror. Claire, she can't have had a miscarriage. She loves me, she wants to marry me, she wouldn't do that to herself. This is fake, it's all fake. The hospital director gestured to a nurse to help Ethan's mother, who was close to fainting. He approached Ethan, his voice laced with disappointment. Claire took a knife for you, and this is how you repay her. You've utterly let me down. You're suspended, effective immediately. This hospital doesn't need a cold-blooded snake like you. Ethan's face was pale. He ignored the suspension notice, instead grabbing the nurse who'd presented it. Claire? Where is she? The nurse repulsively shook off his hand, her voice frigid. Ms. Claire was brutally kicked in the abdomen. Her uterus is irreparably damaged, and her internal organs were injured. The blood transfusion was delayed, and she nearly died. She's barely clinging to life in the ICU in a coma. Ethan's lips trembled, his eyes were red. He tried to rush to the ICU. Claire, please be okay. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have. Slap. Another sharp sound. Ethan's mother shouted. You beast. What good is your regret now? Where were you before? Ethan was dazed, instinctively replying. Be before I. He stammered, trying to defend himself, but nothing came out. Olivia was now under arrest, tears in her eyes, her innocent gaze fixed on Ethan. She trembled, pleading for help. Ethan, save me. Her world revolved around Ethan. For years of being his favorite had given her a false sense of security. She believed she could do anything to me and get away with it. Taking my uterus and my child was nothing, a mere inconvenience. I was an orphan raised by my grandfather. As long as Ethan intervened, the police couldn't touch her. A triumphant gleam flashed in Olivia's eyes. Seeing Ethan's unwavering gaze, she assumed he was working on a solution, squeezing out more tears, her expression increasingly pitiful. She bit her lip, pleading softly, Ethan, I'm scared. She knew Ethan had zero resistance to this look. He'd said she looked like Claire when she was 18. And he did react. Save me, I'm innocent. Olivia waited eagerly, but instead of help, Ethan delivered a stinging kick to her ribs, leaving her pale. Olivia, why? Ethan was a raging beast, his beloved destroyed. Why did you hurt her? Olivia panicked, but quickly recovered, crying even harder. I'm sorry, Ethan. Claire called me a slut, said she'd kill me. I was so scared. I didn't mean to kick her. I'm so sorry, punish me however you want. I'll go to jail. Just forgive me, I'll even kill myself. She feigned a suicide attempt, but Ethan caught her. His anger had subsided when she began to explain. The kick had been for show. Olivia was such a sweet girl. Claire must have provoked her. He panicked, hugging Olivia tightly, comforting her. Don't worry, Olivia, I was wrong. I'll get the best lawyers for you. Olivia's eyes brightened. Burying her face in Ethan's chest, she choked out. Thank God you're here. He cried, sobbing. I'm sorry, honey, I'm so sorry. But why did you sell the house? It's full of our beautiful memories. I smiled coldly. Ethan froze, expectation in his eyes, only to hear me say, beautiful memories for you, but for me it's a reminder of everything you did to me for Olivia. It feels like hell. Ethan was struck dumb, his tall frame slumped. He'd lost all hope. I sighed, losing my patience. Please, just leave me alone. I truly despise you. That was his death sentence. Ethan never appeared again. I returned 6 years later after my studies abroad, planning to care for Ethan's parents. Perhaps disappointed in their son, they had adopted another daughter. A sweet, kind, and well-behaved child. She brightened their lives. They looked younger. I loved her as my own sister. She got top marks, and I promised her a puppy. There was a pet store near our building. She went inside, and I waited outside. I saw a man in the nearby clinic who looked familiar. A scarred face, a limp. Turning, he covered his face and fled as soon as our eyes met. A pet shop employee explained. That's Mr. Mute. He opened a clinic last year. He was a doctor, but he made a mistake and got fired. He's good, but his voice is gone. He married an ex-con last year. Her face is scarred. They fight all the time, sometimes even with knives. He calls her a monster, a curse. She ruined his life. My sister came out, happy with her puppy. I paid for it. Then I heard a scream. My sister was fine, but there was a murder in the clinic. I shielded her eyes. A crazed man stabbed the man lying in a pool of blood, Mr. Mute. It was Ethan. The killer stabbed him repeatedly, then moved toward Olivia. A week later, the police announced that Ethan and Olivia had been murdered. It was tied to a medical malpractice case. Ethan had prescribed the correct medication, but Olivia, having argued with the victim's wife, substituted the medication, causing the woman's death. The victim's unborn child also died. He was deeply attached to the child, his only son. So he snapped, attacking Ethan's clinic after Olivia sent a mocking message to the victim's wife.